So where they are placing this James Webb Telescope?
Didn't say fully, sir. Just read the basics.
See, they are placing this James Webb Telescope at around 1.4 billion kilometers from Earth. That place is called as one of the Lagrangian points. Lagrangian points means like you need not, for if you take Hubble telescope, it is moving around the Earth and it needs a frequent adjustments to fine tune its position. But James Webb telescope, once it is placed in the Lagrangian point, it where the influence of all the planets and our star sun, its influence on that at that James Lagrangian point is null. That is the beauty of it. So once you place there, no, you need not do day-to-day manipulation of its position. Anyway, so and it is as I said, like it involves a lot of complexity, project type of production system, and you do only once. Whereas job order, we said like good examples are like shipbuilding, building a big things like 100 megawatt turbine or boiler, 500 megawatt boiler, like BHEL is the best example. It means like now you see most of the places. So wherever, in fact, like most of the automobile sector has also slowly it has moved from mass type to batch type. Like and then it doesn't mean like, for example, if you take a car like Ferrari, Dilip Chabria's customized car, they follow job order type. So it depends on how you like, how much customization you want. The more the customization you want in the product, gradually you may have to go for job order. If everybody gets same product, just like T model, black in color, then you go for automatically mass type of production system. Henry Ford, who is the. But nowadays, mass type of production system is more limited at the component level, or even at certain level, like product level also, like Intel. Intel follows mass type of production system, or most of the uh, packaged foods, they follow mass type. All right. So now coming to, we said like depending on the where so broadly people have classified that most of the manufacturing systems, production systems, they compete on one of these competitive dimensions, that is cost, quality, time, and then flexibility. So if you take cost, normally mass production systems are known for lowering the cost of production. See, you take take Henry Ford's example. Initially, he was selling his car at $960. For a period of time, he could reduce it to only $280. Right? Because his idea is how I can give a maximum leverage to the customer in terms of cost. So, what is the trade-off he has chosen is variety. Absolutely giving no variety, because the moment you give variety, cost will automatically shoot up. So he gave, that's why he used to joke on customer. You can take any car from me as long as it is T model, black in color. So With that goal only, he invented this moving assembly line concept, and then he did the mass production, producing millions of cars. His production rate was one car used to come out of the assembly line for every 30 seconds. Imagine car coming at the rate of one car for every 30 seconds. So that is the speed at which, in fact, I was telling now, like, if you look at his people who have looked at his River Road plant near Chicago, they were wondering, how come this? What is this? Is Henry Ford is performing some magic, right? Because turning out one car for every 30 seconds is not a joke, right? But he achieved this in 1917 itself, 1908. He started his operations in 1908, and by 1917 he was selling his T model black in color at $280 only. A comparative achievement was made by our Ratan Tata, but unfortunately, Ratan Tata could not succeed as beautifully as Henry Ford. Right? Coming to quality, so like you can compete on quality, like Mercedes-Benz, Rolls-Royce, Ferrari. They compete on a quality dimension, top quality. So naturally, if you take Ferrari, Ferrari car each car is different. Right from even preparing a separate mold for making the engine. It is customized to the core. It is entirely tuned as per the customer. So if you look at the assembly process of Ferrari, it almost looks like a shipbuilding. Even though it is a car, but top quality. Most of their customers are who can pay $1 million for a car, not just $280 or $500. So each car could be more than so naturally. So that so they may be following some kind of job order production system or batch type of production, but never mass production, because they are competing on quality dimension. Similarly, if you take consistent quality, McDonald comes into picture. So they may be following hybrid kind of production system, a flexible system, but at the same time, like we call it as ATO. We are coming to the next slide about that. That means they follow a kind of modular design. Now coming to time, see, like delivery speed, Pizza Hut, on-time delivery, then development speed, Lee and Fung. So they have a different kind of, their production systems are designed for example, Pizza Hut. So most of the customers of Pizza Hut are not cost conscious, they're time conscious, like executives who are in a hurry to go to office, or who suddenly the executive didn't receive his lunch box, or he's in a hurry to go to airport. So those guys are not cost conscious, but they want a quickness of service. So naturally, the kind of production system that you design, if you are competing on time dimension, is different from those guys who compete on cost, right? So there is a lot of difference between the kind of production system that you design for who are cost conscious from the who are time conscious. Okay. Say for example, you take on-time delivery DHL or FedEx. The kind of customers of FedEx are different from customers of US Postal Service. The US Postal Service is used by mostly by grandfathers and nannies because they are not in a hurry, right? They are also at the same time they are cost conscious. So time is at their disposal, and money may be a bit of problem for them. So they will choose US Postal Service because with the 10 cents they can send their letter anywhere in US and let it reach after 10 days. They are not bothered. But the guys who are using FedEx or DHL, their time is money for them. So naturally, the kind of production system, designing the production system for US Postal Service and FedEx is totally different. For example, if you take FedEx, they follow hub and spoke kind of arrangement, and their like most of their last mile deliveries and everything is done as far as possible in the most quickest mode of transport. Like there will be delivery vans, whereas US Postal Service, that postmaster might be delivering through what you call cycle or walk, because they are not promising anything on the time dimension. They are mostly operating on the cost dimension. So their approach is different. So depending on what kind of competitive dimension you have selected, accordingly you have to design your production system, right? So that's why the FedEx and DHL, they have their own blue dot. These people are what do you call? They have their own fleet of aircraft to to deliver their materials. They say they don't depend on. They try to reduce the dependence on railroads. Instead, they opt for air because that is
Sir, one
quickest
doubt.
service. Ah,
So, in technically speaking, FedEx and US Postal Service are not competitors.
yes,
Despite both being delivery, they are
Ah.
not competitors.
yes. They have their own segment.
Okay, sir. And one more thing, sir. This for the satellite. Sorry, for telescope. What
Huh?
for the telescope? What we were talking back.
James Webb.
That is a project type, right?
Yes,
That's a project type. This goes on for like more than decade normally.
yes, yes.
For example, for suppose they have started making telescope, and recently they have completed like 30% in 3 years,
Hmm.
and then something technological this
Hurdle.
invention was made, something great
Ah.
revolutionary.
Hmm.
That would seriously impact the
Yes, yes.
project type. Like for example, in case of some satellite, if you take off satellite,
Hmm.
some new material is discovered.
Ah.
That would make it more durable. The satellite will be much more durable. Like for it will be working for more years.
Yes, yes.
But if we use that material, whatever we did till now, whatever
Ah.
they made, it will be in vain.
Yes.
Like
All these
changes
risks
should be
are there.
serious. What
Yeah.
would the people do? Like they will think of future, like how long it will last, or they will just stick to the plan.
No, no, no. It depends on how much, like they do what is so called trade-off. cost benefit
Yes, sir.
analysis. They do a trade-off analysis or cost benefit analysis to see that if we just postpone this, or what is the benefit, whether the benefits are what you call over and above the cost that you are going to currently incur. If the benefits are more than the cost, they will definitely switch over to the new technology. No? See, it depends on the life of the product. So, what is the life of the product? Like, say, whether it is 2 years or 4 years. See, if it is only 6 months, probably they will go for the existing technology, so that anyway the life of the product is less. But say if the life of the expected life of the product is 10 years, naturally whatever the new technologies that are likely to benefit, I think they have to change their design, because it is not a long lasting product. Huh? So they look at the life cycle costs, the benefits, right? See, there are so many examples. Like if you take James Webb Telescope itself, it is behind the schedule after like almost 10 years. And in these 10 years, again, they were facing all these technological obsolescence. But at the same time, you need not react to every technological advancement. Otherwise, what happens is you end up into what you call carpenter's dilemma. Carpenters, it seems they have this syndrome of, after making half the product, they suddenly see that there is a new design has come. So they abandon the old product and again start it. So you should not end up postponing or going on with the incomplete products, finally delivering nothing to the customer. Right?
Yes, sir, but normally everything has some little development. Every product
Yes.
in like 10 years, everything will be developed. But I'm saying if there is some major thing.
Yeah, we have to. That again depends on what is the cost of the new technology, what are the replacement costs, and what is the benefits you are going to accrue. Whether this increased cost can we justify this increased cost of replacement with the benefits that accrue to the product, to the in the entire life cycle of the product. So we have to do that cost benefit analysis.
Sir, anything happened like this for NASA, like in past years?
Yeah, many times. Many times. Like, for example, that is what Richard Feynman used to say, na? The kind of computer that was put in Apollo 11 is an 8-bit processor. No, you can't, for the next moon trip, they can't operate that product. They can't go with the same designs, no? Now they have to go for a new product. In fact, one of the greatest advantages that Elon Musk got over NASA is all these legacy technologies. With these legacy technology, NASA is still stuck with. It is not able to adopt new technologies quickly as Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. Whereas these guys, they have already learned from the mistakes of NASA, and they are incorporating the latest technologies. That's why the time they take to execute a product and realize all this, it is very, like NASA is a very, very bureaucratic government organization. They take a lot of time to change. Whereas Elon Musk is a private enterprise. Firing or hiring people is not is a matter of minutes or hours or days, not years in the case of NASA. So gone, NASA is entirely dictated by government budgets and everything. But Elon Musk, SpaceX, or Jeff Bezos, Blue Origin, or Virgin Atlantic, that man, what is that? Richard Branson. See, they don't have this kind of what you call hurdles. Okay.
Okay, so got it.
So now coming to flexibility. So we discussed about this dimension, customization, variety, volume flexibility. So in the last class, we discussed about this. So then you have to select what is called developing a manufacturing strategy. All right. So here, how we develop this manufacturing strategy. So what is So the main objectives of manufacturing strategy development is like to translate required competitive dimensions into specific performance requirements for operations. All right. Suppose if you are competing on time, let us say, just FedEx said anywhere in US today, next day 10:30, anywhere in US. So naturally, they have to see that what is the last flight they should design, so that what is the last flight they should keep ready, so that they can take a given parcel or envelope to the remote state like Washington state from Atlanta, let us say. So they have to calculate what is the flight distance, and then what is the time they take to the. So they do what is called, they have to, if your competitor is delivering an item in 2 days and you want to compete against that guy, and you see that there are a lot of customers who want even less time and they are significant in number, then naturally you design the number of flights that you have to customize, flights that you have to keep ready. All this you have to make some kind of simulation and then see like what is the minimum. Like for example, you say that I want to give a quick service like Pizza Hut. Like you have to work out what are the, like you have to go to the extent of even counting seconds. Like this process will take 1 minute 30 seconds. You know, like if you go to McDonald's or Pizza, like to show that how efficient they are, sometimes they put the sand clock in front of you. By the time the sand empties on the top chamber, they say like we will deliver your required food. So you have to translate required competitive dimensions into specific performance requirements for operations, and to make the plans necessary to ensure that operations capabilities are sufficient to accomplish them. Whether those you plan. So if you say like I will be serving, no customer should wait for more than 2 minutes for a given service. Accordingly, you have to design your like how much time you take to fry a bunch of French fries, or to prepare a bunch of French fries. How many you can prepare to prepare like fill a glass of Coke? How many? Like you count. See, the devil is in the details. You have to make simulations and see like whether you are really meeting the performance requirements. Otherwise, you will be lost to your competitor. So this is what you are expected to do in manufacturing. So once you have selected that like time is my competitive dimension, translate that into specific performance requirements. Like you compare how your competitors are doing in that dimension. Similarly, like if you are competing on cost, do a detailed study of it. How your operations will help in reaching that given target cost. Right? So here, so how you first, in the first place, you select your competitive dimensions. So this is what you call, like, as Professor Madhumurthy might have said, like nowadays markets are not homogeneous. You don't have the luxury of Henry Ford, like where Henry Ford assumed that every customer is same. He distinguished. He didn't distinguish between rich customer and poor customer. He said every customer needs a T model black in color. But that particular assumption has worked for Henry Ford for some time only. It was founder of General Motors, one of the founders of General Motors, Alfred Sloan, who said like, no, like customers look for variety and you have to segment the market and identify what are the requirements of each segment and accordingly design or offer the product or services as per that particular segment. Like for example, like the customers of US Postal Service is different from customers of FedEx. Initially, there was only US Postal Service. Whether you are a rich guy or a poor guy, you give a parcel to US Postal Service, they will deliver the product at their convenient time. But like somebody has looked at the opportunity of that serving the rich customers on a time dimension instead of cost dimension. And they found that it is profitable. So here, what we do is whenever we are, if you are entering into a particular market, first of all, you have to segment the market. Find out what are the basic segments with which the, like for example, if you take automobile market, normally people, they have now come to an understanding that an automobile market consists of 5 segments, starting from A, like at Tata Nano level, to the highest E segment, like where Mercedes-Benz, E-Class, S-Class kind of cars are Rolls-Royce. So one is at the bottom and the other is at the top. So you accordingly you have to decide whether which you do SWOT analysis or whatever analysis, Porter models you do, all these things, and then finally what you do is in each segment identify the product requirements, demand patterns, and profit margins of each group. That means, like in India, when Toyota wanted to enter into Indian market, it found that there are certain gaps in the Indian market, particularly in the SUV, not like semi SUV. Like for example, they have found that they can easily penetrate into quality segment, Toyota quality, because only Tata Sumo was there, and so they thought like it is easier to enter into, because they can't imagine beating Maruti at the lower segment, now Maruti 800 or D segment, where they have Maruti, what do you call, Swift, right? So, like you have to, they have found that entering into kind of multi-utility vehicle kind of is easier. Later, they have, once they establish themselves, they have started spreading into other segments, right? So here also, what? So after segmenting the market according to the product group, for each group you have to find out Normally, what is the profit margins, and then product requirement, demand patterns, right? And then third step is determine the order winners and order qualifiers for each group. So order qualifier means what is the basic performance aspects that you have to meet to enter into a particular segment. What are the order qualifiers? Sometimes order qualifiers may be below your status also. Like for example, Mercedes, Benz and Rolls-Royce, they cannot think of entering into lower segment because that will dilute their image. So they never, in fact, like when Rolls-Royce have found that there is a saturation in the E segment, instead of spreading into other segments of the market, instead they have chosen to enter into a bit related industry called aviation. There they started producing jet engines for the aircraft. Like most of the jet engines that are fitted to Airbus belongs to Rolls-Royce. Because Rolls-Royce could have entered into lower segment like A segment or B segment of automobile, but that will only dilute their image. People say like even Kachra fellow is able to drive the Rolls-Royce. Why I have to buy Rolls-Royce? So similarly, Mercedes. See, the order qualifiers for A segment. It is a bit over qualification for the Mercedes-Benz and Rolls-Royce. But whereas for a totally new entity, like for example, like what like Tata's, they want to come with a car which is as feature rich as Maruti 800, but they have selected a sub-A segment. That is, if a Maruti 800 is 2 lakhs in those days, they want to come up with a 1 lakh car. Because there is no 1 lakh car in India when Ratan Tata has imagined to produce. So, there the order winner is whether like he thought like order winner is if I can produce a car with a reasonably good quality, I can sell millions of cars. If it is priced at 1 lakh. See, he wants to give as much comfort as Maruti 800, but at a lesser price. See, a price which customers cannot say no. So here, when he is entering into A segment of automobile, what he is doing is he is coming with a he wants to satisfy all the order qualifiers like whatever the Maruti is offering, but at a lower cost. So now, like for example, like now fourth step is convert order winners into specific performance requirements. So his specific performance requirement is one is from the price point of view, like it was 1 lakh or maybe 1 lakh 20,000. Other specific performance requirements is like it should give a mileage of 20 kilometers or 22 kilometers. It should have a load carrying capacity of this much, almost maybe equivalent to Maruti or a bit higher. So you convert order winners into. So now you have to design a production system, design a product, design your production system to meet those specific performance requirements. So that is how you select so that is what we mean by selecting a manufacturing strategy. right? So how you are going to, how you strategize, how you, so that is about. Now coming to how you see, there are various ways you can address the customer requirement. Like see, ultimately you have to fine tune your production supply with the demand. The more you can synchronize your demand with supply, the better is your ability to beat the market. So normally what they do, no, in most of the production system, they don't exclusively depend on production system to synchronize your production system with the demand. What they do is they use inventory as a buffer. It is like inventories, we call it as like you can say it acts as a shock absorber. See, matching, you cannot perfectly fine tune a production system to a particular demand pattern, because demand is comes randomly, arises randomly. So synchronizing your production operations with exactly with the demand pattern is a bit tough. Except this may occur in certain sectors, like for example, electricity generation. There, they have to synchronize their supply with the demand pattern. In those cases where the product is not tangible, see, electricity, you cannot quantify or you can't touch it, right? So it is what we call it as, it is an intangible product. But so synchronizing, so what in discrete manufacturing situations like telephone manufacturing, TVs or ceiling fans, people follow both production and inventory strategies. They combine because inventories can act as a buffer. They can cushion between like demand and supply. Say, for example, one strategy, one of the production and inventory strategies, make to order strategy. A strategy used by manufacturers that make products to customer specific in low volumes. So,
Sir, so when we order, then only they make, right?
yes, yes. Like MTO is normally followed in job order production system. See, like unless there is a confirmed order, unless the customer gives some advance. Say, for example, NTPC needs 200 megawatt turbine. See, Debashis, I have a class, okay? So see, if you take NTPC, if it has to, like, it is given a turnkey project to BHEL to deliver one 500 megawatt thermal station. So NTPC has to give confirmed order, then they have to give time for them to execute it, and they should also give some kind of advance, some money to commit themselves that yes, we are interested. So they go into contract. So most of the large products like shipbuilding, aircraft manufacturing, setting up of big plants like thermal power stations, or starting a new mining uh, company. All these are, so they follow MTO, make to order, and the volumes are low volumes. So every year BHEL Ramachandrapuram makes only a few steam turbines and a few gas turbines. That's all. Because each steam turbine capable of producing say sufficient for a 200 megawatt generator. Okay, so that is, and then that means here in made to order, then they don't use inventory as a buffer between customer and the producer. Whereas if you take assemble to order, a strategy for producing wide variety of products from relatively few sub-assemblies and components after the customer orders are received. So here, what they do is they use inventories at the component level or sub-assembly level. Yeah. So here, like here, they keep inventories as a buffer between customer and the producer, but they don't commit themselves to a particular final product configuration. Like if you take certain examples like Dell computers. So what the customer of a Dell computer will do, he will go to the website, then customize his requirement, and he will finally pay the money through credit card, and that fellow assembles the given product and send it to some a logistic player like FedEx. See, for example, assemble to order is the strategy followed by even by McDonald's. McDonald's follows assemble to order because they keep ready French fries, they keep ready or all other things. Once the order comes now, they take only few minutes to assemble the whole food item and deliver to the customer. So they follow assemble to order. Like even certain bakeries, they keep all the things ready at the component level. Depending on the combination that the customer is asking, they will assemble and give it. So that kind of production system is different from make to order production system. Whereas assemble to order is normally like you see in a batch type of production system. Right? Most of the batch type of production systems, they follow ATO. There can be exceptions, but that is the norm. Now coming to make to stock strategy, this strategy is normally followed by what do you call?
Delivery.
Huh?
Yeah, Amazon, Flipkart, these do like that only.
No. See, Amazon and Amazon, Flipkart, they are simply traders.
They are sellers also, sir. They have
See, sellers means traders basically. They take product from somewhere and then here what I mean to say is like if you take empties.
Yes, sir.
See, Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon produce not even a single item. It doesn't have any production unit. Basically, they are stockists. That's all, traders. Amazon and Flipkart. They buy products in bulk from somebody, keep it in Amazon fulfillment center, and then start looking for a customer too who can buy from them. Let's see, that is a totally different ball game, right? So whereas MTO is normally followed where
AC. You told AC.
Huh?
You told air conditioner.
Air conditioners or even Intel. See, Intel it follows a make to stock situation. That means they go on producing same chip. They can't customize a chip for a particular customer. It is take it or leave it, or producing continuously same kind of 1 terabyte hard disk, that 27-inch monitor, 23-inch monitor. So they have separate assembly lines for each of the configuration, where absolutely this is the strategy. Coca-Cola and all those things, people. నేను క్లాస్లో ఉన్నా 9 to 10 class. Right. So here we what we do is we like most of the Coca-Cola, Pepsi, food items, Kurkure, all these they follow MTS only. Because see, there is nothing like almost, there is a nil. There is the choice for the customer is nil. So they can't hold the production process. Once the production starts, it has to go, and most of the time they operate on a 24/7. All right. So anyway, or maybe they will run at the maximum, say maybe 2 shifts per day. So Coca-Cola, all these make to stock. So here you are using, whereas in the first case, make to order strategy, you are absolutely, you are not assuming anything about the customer. You will almost start from scratch. Like for example, James Webb Telescope is entirely made to order strategy. That means they don't make any, they don't have any, they don't stock any kind of material with respect to at the component level, neither at the component level nor at the raw material level or sub-assemblies. Whereas ATO you can follow, provided your design follows modular design approach. Just like every desktop follows modular design. Modular design means you can substitute one with the other depending on the customer's requirement. Like for example, one customer wants 4 GB RAM, another customer wants 8 GB RAM. So in the motherboard, there is a provision for expanding the RAM. There may be provision in a motherboard motherboard of a desktop follows a modular design, because you can configure a particular motherboard in different configurations in terms of higher hard disks, higher memories, right? In fact, like even you can put graphic accelerator cards. See, that is why like Dell is able to give a customized product fine-tuned to a particular customer, because basically from the beginning, desktop computers followed modular design approach. It is something like Lego toys. See, Lego blocks, you can assemble them in different format and come up with a different kind of styling or shape. All right. So just like that, so wherever the design is of modular type, particularly assembled to ATO is the best strategy for such kind of things. And here in ATO, one beauty of ATO is you can adopt what is so called, you achieve what is so called mass customization. Mass customization means giving a customized product at mass production cost. In fact, Dell is able to do that. Dell it is giving a customized product, but at the same time, cost not getting higher. Maybe they may charge 5% extra or 10% extra for that customized assembly. In fact, through product innovation in the design and assembly of the desktop, they could reduce the assembly time of desktop computer from, say, 50 to 60 minutes to just 6 minutes. So here, this is what the beauty of modular design. So with modular design, you follow assemble to order strategy, and from that you can achieve mass customization. Okay, whereas MTS, this strategy, like you keep them in inventory finished form, and you will pray God that somebody will pick that finished inventory. So this is another way, like you match demand with the supply. All right. So the most costliest option is MTO, because you are giving a customized product, and every product there is as per the customer's requirement, and most of the time they are unique. There is almost no repetition from one customer to other customer. And sometimes most of the MTOs are of either job order type or project type. Okay, whereas MTS is purely mass production, mostly, or batch production. Even in batches also, you produce some batches, and again you pray for God, saying that like, somebody will pick up that particular model. Whereas ATO, normally this is followed in batch and mostly in batch type of production system. So, and sometimes they may go for even what is so-called GT technology. Right. So that is about the production and inventory control strategy. So anyway, we will talk about this links of competitive practice with tomorrow. Tomorrow or in the next class we will pick up this. I will explain this linkages. Okay. So hope if you have any quick questions, I can answer.